Welcome, guys, to episode number 6. This is the Damian Blue Show, comic book, and King of Pop talk. Today we're going to be talking about Spawn issue number 2. We're going to be talking about the new Venom movie that came out this past weekend. And also, we're going to talk about this cool Venom comic, which you got if you went and saw it at an AMC theater. But before we do that, I want to just give a shout out to Reg over at the show Toys, Noise, and Action Figures, because I won a contest and I never win, so it's awesome that I won. Shout out and a big thank you. I love this prize. This is Optimal Optimus. Check him out. He is really cool. I am so thrilled I won. Thank you so much, Reg. I'm going to post a link to his channel below in the info, so you can go subscribe, watch his channel. He's going to do more awesome contests, so maybe you guys, one of you guys, can be the next winner. Really cool prize. He also sent me a lot of other cool Comic-Con stuff. But I just wanted to give you a little glimpse of this guy because he is just too cool. Thanks again, Reg. And I'll have you know, you inspired me, sir, to host my own contest. So come back, guys, for episode 8, where we will be doing the first contest on this show called the Symbiote Surprise Contest, where somebody is going to win a very surprise comic book, key issue to the character Venom. So more on that in episode 8. But meanwhile, let's jump into episode 6. Before we get into Spawn, we're going to talk about Venom, just because the movie opened. It was phenomenal. But beyond that, there's just so much to talk about. So let's do that first. Here we go. This is the Venom comic. If you guys, like I said earlier, if you went and saw it at the AMC theaters, you got this comic. The cover's pretty cool. Here's the back. The back's cool too. Okay, it says "We are #Venom," and there's this awesome art here. You can see the rendition on the cover, though. It's got Tom Hardy's face. In the corner, it says "Official Movie Collectible," and this is from the Marvel Custom Edition exclusive comic line. I've been seeing these pop up on eBay already, so they're kind of rare because not everybody knows to go see this movie in AMC theater for that. I think the Cinemark theaters give away a poster, so there's a lot of neat tie-ins, guys. If you're a fan of this movie, you have a good reason to be. So the comic book opens with some of the most exciting parts of the film. Before we go any further, this video might spoil the film, so if you haven't seen Venom and you want to go into it clean, stop watching the video now, just because this video is definitely going to get into a lot of stuff about the movie Venom. So come back and watch it after you've seen it. But I'm just going to say I enjoyed the movie a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'm going to tell you why I loved the end of the movie. And I mean loved with like 72-point font. But yeah, so back to this comic. We see them talking about the Life Foundation stuff. And really, this is where the movie gets good, in my opinion. So in the film, the symbiote talks to Eddie Brock and is like, "Don't open that door." And so it's like it can sense danger, obviously. And the movie is just so much fun. This comic really highlights the exciting parts of the film that really grab onto you and hold you. But man, some of the effects in this movie, so like, and the voice of Venom, he's got so much personality. This comic is definitely worth checking out, just because it jumps in at probably the exciting parts of the movie. But as you can see, as you look at it, it's gonna be a comic book film, and that's awesome, and that's a good thing. That's what you want from something like this. Okay, so check this out. This is awesome. You know, he's gonna bite his head off, and just look at that art, man. That's just cool to see. It says Venom. We hope you enjoyed the sneak peek. Keep reading to discover more. So here is And this stuff too all takes place in the film. So I'm not gonna like get into it panel by panel and do a thing, but if you like the art and you're like, man, this looks like a comic book, great, because A, it is a comic book, duh. But B, the movie is really grounded in being a comic book movie. For better or worse, for the fun of it, it's a lot of fun though, and I definitely would recommend it. Now, I said earlier I loved it. Why did I love it? All right, guys. Spoilers alert. If you haven't seen Venom, this is your warning now. Stop. Okay. Now, if you're a Spider-Man fan, you might know what this is and why I'm showing you this. Let's say you're not, though. I'm going to show you this, and this might, if you're a fan or if you're not a fan, this might clue you in. Okay. So these two comics here are the first two appearances of the villain Carnage. A little bit Joker, a little bit Venom. This guy was always, growing up, he was my favorite Spider-Man villain, one of my top 3 favorite villains of all time, just because every panel you'd see this guy in, he would terrify you, because you'd always, especially if you cared about the stakes of Spider-Man as a character, you were always like, oh my gosh, on the edge of your seat, wondering if what trouble was going to await him. In the same fashion Venom did, but for me, Carnage, the stakes were raised even higher. Okay, spoilers alert even more. Here's why I loved Venom, because at the very end of the film, after the credits, you get this scene. You get Woody Harrelson playing who soon will be Carnage, okay? Mr. Cassidy himself. Now, why that's cool, in my opinion, is just because if I could have cast anybody, not just in America, not just in the world, but in the whole galaxy to play this character, it would have been him. Go watch Natural Born Killers, okay? He is like Cletus Cassidy already in that film, but he's got the red hair. Oh my gosh, you just need to go see the film. I'm contemplating seeing it a second time just to see that, okay? The movie was great and a lot of fun, but the ending is where I was like, I literally got goosebumps. I went with Kevin Bingham, who does a lot of the DP work on a lot of the films on this channel, and I got goosebumps, man. It was so exciting to see this come to life. Literally, you're looking at this panel right now. I'm telling you, it's in the film. And it's just really cool because you know this is what's going to follow it. So I'm just super excited. I heard it's doing well, and I hope that it continues to do well because I want that sequel so bad. And Woody Harrelson himself already said he signed on to do a sequel. So, and Tom Hardy's contracted for 3 of them. So if you want a Carnage movie, I think we're going to get it, guys, and I'm super pumped. So go see Venom if you haven't already. I hope Todd McFarlane got a chance to see Venom, and I hope he loves it because it's just a big, it's a neat marker for comic book films to have something like this. If somebody would have said 10 years ago we're going to have a Venom solo movie, people probably would have laughed. But we got it, and it was great. So go check it out, guys. That's my plug for Venom. Here's Spawn number 2. Okay, guys. Questions, part 2. So if you remember in part 1, if you want to pause and go watch part 1 again, because we did a recap of that, go watch it on the channel. I think it was episode number 1 of the show, because we had an episode 0, but then we had an episode, a proper episode 1, and I think it was Spawn, the special edition. So go check it out if you're lost, but this continues it, and it's neat, because here you have the clown, but you'll later come to find out he's Violator, and he even announces it. So, and he's talking to a cat, okay? Very, very Joker-like if you read some of this dialogue here, you know? And then I'll tell him, if he begs me really, really nice, like, I might only amputate 1 leg, but if he puts up a fight, I'm going to have to rip his innards out, make fillets out of his lungs, make a milkshake out of his heart, and soft boil his eyeballs, cause you see it in I'm the Violator, you know, and just look at that. This guy looks creepy. Imagine seeing this guy. It's like Kiss meets just a hobo in an alley. He would creep you out, okay? And there's this poor innocent cat, meow. Impressive, I know. And he continues talking to this cat, but you just get the sense this guy is creepy, which is probably what Todd McFarlane was obviously going for, but just looking at the art, you're instantly, and then look at this. This is real, methodical. Oh, I love being me, and I'd hate to be him tonight. I'd hate to be Spawn. And look at this imagery, man. Like Todd McFarlane just showing you all his amazement and wonderment with this image right here. So you have Spawn here brooding. My wife, I've got to find her. More continuing on that theme of issue 1. He's a lost man in a new world, confused. Not going to matter much if I can't find her, and look at this too, man. Look at that mask. Even wearing this mask, and I think I said with issue 1, you can still tell so much emotion. It's neat. Okay, so Mads. Look at this, man. Interestingly, he says here, this new look seemed to work against those rapists the other night, though. The costume feels more comfortable than my real skin, what's left of it. I let my instincts carry me through that. Wonder if that lady's all right. I just about scared her to death till I freaked. The memories keep hitting me like a freight train. That could be trouble. That happens when I'm, what's that guy doing? And you see the clown kind of waving. And I love the perspective of it because he's so small and he's like waving, trying to get his attention, okay? So you have Violator showing up, killing somebody. I just love the look of the building too in this. Like you really get a sense of, as you're reading this, it's like watching a film. And that's just all about, Todd McFarlane's genius and the other people that worked on this book, just to make it feel like you're watching a film. It's just, it holds you that much. So here he goes. Like, this could be a film. Todd McFarlane said his new Spawn film is going to be a horror film, and you watch this, you look at these, and you're like, this is a horror film. You got Violator pulling this guy through a door with his hand, and your boss is unavailable. But he did say he wanted you to join him tonight, and he, like, rips out his heart. And look at this. I know the Spawn movie gets panned for special effects, but if this was done right, I think that's scarier than any horror movie I've ever seen. Okay, so you got the media talking heads, which are always nice. You have one guy here assuming it was a mob thing. You got the E guy talking about the fashion sense of the group. And then you have the CNN person down here talking about Wanda, just highlighting what a good woman she is, and that she's a widow, obviously, of Al Simmons, who is Spawn, but also that they say the money generated by her late husband's memorial fund helped finish the center, which had been on hold. The current recession is blamed. And this is the third such charitable project that Miss Blake was involved in. Again, highlighting she's a good woman, but also this comic, even though it's, years and years and years old, it still feels really modern. It holds up well. It's really timeless. More brooding, and you just get a sense that it's a real morose feel, but it's not depressing because you're still trying to figure out stuff along with Spawn. So he tries to morph, for lack of a better word, into something human and transform, if you will. And what a jolt. Feels good, though. Strong, almost afraid to look. And look at him. For a man who was an African-American man, look at him now. And he highlights that. Look at this. He says, oh my God. No. Come on, work. Not again. This can't be. I'm a black man, And Tom McFarlane talks a lot about how when he created Spawn, he wanted it to be a black character just because he felt like someone like Spider-Man was white, but he just as easily could have been black. And so he really wanted Al Simmons' character to be black when he created him. And so it's a neat part of his identity. Here we have Sam and Twitch talking more, just kind of highlighting more about the mob stuff, which they think is mob stuff, just the heinousness of these crimes going on. Okay, and then more terrifying stuff. Relax, Gino. You're bad and I admire that. Unfortunately, I need you to help me. Here's the deal. You lend me a small piece of your anatomy and I let your soul get tortured forever. So guess what's next? He's saying, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Bad guess. You know, and I just, it's exciting stuff. Would I recommend a kid reading this? Probably not. But it's just real exciting. I mean, it really holds you. And it's still, like I said earlier, timeless. This stuff all these years later still holds you. Okay, so Spawn's piecing stuff together a bit more. He's remembering a bit about Jason Wynn, who we'll find out, you know, in further issues what he's all about. But it's just really, the art just holds you shot by shot. You can tell this stuff was really planned out. So again, like we talked about in issue 1, Spawn's losing powers, his lifeline, so to speak. He falls to the ground. So there is, here's Violator, and it's like he's already bored with killing people, like murdering them straight up in terrifying ways. He's bored with it. Hey, mister, you need help? Ugh. And so as non-threatening as Clown looks, this conversation's really interesting. I'm gonna dig through some of it here. I'm okay, now just a bit dizzy. How'd my mask get back on? Don't worry, I put it on while you were in La La Land. Heck of an acne problem you got there. You must have to scrape the pus off the mirror when you're done. I know you. Oh? Oh? I saw you from the top of the church. You waved at me. Do you know who I am? Yeah. You're the Spawn. So what's the big deal? The Spawn? Yeah, you know, not like salmon or nothing, but like a hell spawn. Get it? And just look at this. Like, he's the most non-threatening person to Spawn, obviously. Spawn looks menacing here, but are you scared yet? And he talks about all this nasty stuff he's going to do to him, and all these things he could do to him. And it's like he's the most non-threatening person to Spawn. Spawn's like, you know, I'm on my purpose, I'm my mission, I'm trying to figure shit out. And he just keeps talking, and he says, and look at this stuff. Finally, Spawn ends the conversation, though, and says, listen, buddy, I don't have time for this. Or you. Oh, come on, mister, he says to him. This is why you're going to want to come back when we do issue 3, guys, because have a heart, you know, and he was ripping out hearts earlier. And you feel like issue 1 and 2 were kind of building to this moment, but obviously now we're going to get next issue, Spawn versus the true Violator. And that fight's probably not going to be pretty. So there you have it. That was issue 2.